Hello, in this video we're going to be looking at a 4-marker question on the atomic bomb, and we're going to be looking at making sure we can explain correctly so you can make a really good start to question 1 in your AQA Conflict Tension exam. Okay, so here is the question and the source. So you've got the source there in your booklet. So firstly, have a look at the question. So it says source A has a negative view of the American use of the atomic bomb. How do you know? We need to explain using source A and our knowledge. Now in other videos I've talked you through the exact details on what to do. I'll just remind you in this one as well. So we need to write one paragraph. We need to give clearly what the message of the source is and how it's a negative view. And then we need to support that with some knowledge and ideally a little bit of provenance as well. So we need to write 4 or 5 sentences. So let's plan our idea first. So what I'd like to do is label the key evidence from the source, see if you can work out the message it's giving, and then any knowledge you think you could use to support that. And look at the provenance below and see if any of that is useful to help you answer this question. So spend a couple of minutes labeling around the source in your revision guide, and then come back to me for my ideas. So pause now and give it a go. So here's what I've got. So clearly we've got President Truman is holding the atomic bomb while presenting the Potsdam peace terms. Okay, so the Russian leader, Stalin, British leader Attlee, looking at the terms. There's an ironic statement at the bottom. Clearly this is not trusting, obviously, because the USA have an atomic bomb in their hand and they're not showing the knowledge of it. So now clearly they can't work together. Clearly Truman is trying to dominate the discussion with some atomic diplomacy here. Hey, I'm in charge. I'm more powerful. I've got an atomic bomb. I think we should all do as I say now. It's the type of suggestion we have here. And this is another one of a really good David Lowe cartoons that sort of really sums up the idea very well. So in the provenance, David Lowe is obviously well known for being quite critical of international diplomacy. He was one of the cartoonists in the 1930s, predicted that Hitler was very, very bad. And he is predicting here that the atomic bomb is changing the whole situation about how international affairs will be negotiated and this idea of atomic diplomacy. So it's a British view. But because it's David Lowe, he's not supportive so much of the Americans. He's known for his criticism of people and their international decisions. So we've got some ideas then. So how are we going to turn this into an idea? So we've got the idea, the message is that clearly it's critical because it's suggesting that Truman is using the atomic bomb to sort of lead his diplomacy, and this is obviously going to upset Stalin and to some extent Attlee. So how do we turn this into an answer? So here's the writing frame for what we should do. So source A has a negative view of the American use of the atomic bomb because. So we need to finish that sentence with our message of the source, how it has a negative view. Then we could give a little bit of evidence from the cartoon if we need to. And then we need to explain this has a negative view because we need to give our knowledge there. And then we need to link. Furthermore, it has a negative view due to. And in that case, we could give either some more knowledge or we could talk about the provenance of the source and why the writer might have a negative view. So in your revision guide now, let's give this a go. So write your first sentence using the message of the source. So source A has a negative view of the atomic bomb because. Okay, so give your idea now. So I've written source A has a negative view of the American use of the atomic bomb because it suggests that the USA are using the atomic bomb to get what they want. So this idea of atomic diplomacy might be a good phrase to use. Okay, so if you feel like you need to give a bit of evidence from the source, what would you say? So maybe one sentence to give a little bit of evidence from the source there now. Okay, so pause me and give it a go. So here's what I've written. For example, the source shows Truman presenting his demands at the Potsdam conference whilst holding an atomic bomb. Okay, so a little bit of knowledge then of the events put in place there. So this has a negative view because. So what knowledge could we use then? So we might want to talk about how Stalin might react, how this might cause international tension to be doing this. Is Truman sort of threatening Stalin about his expansionism? Okay, so choose an idea to give. Okay, pause and give it a go. So here's my idea. So this has a negative view because only the USA have an atomic bomb and therefore were more powerful than Russia and Britain. This meant that Truman, who distrusted Stalin, could be trying to force Russia to follow his view. In particular, Truman did not want Russia to invade Japan and so used the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay, so you could have also talked about Truman doesn't trust Stalin's expansionism in the Eastern Europe and therefore not letting him to be involved in Japan. And those kind of ideas would be useful as well. So how could we use the provenance then for the last bit? So have a think about this. Pause me now and see if you can talk about the provenance to say why it's got a negative view. Okay, so here's my idea. So furthermore, there's a negative view due to the cartoon being British. As a non-nuclear country, they were more likely to criticise America as they could see how America used the bomb to dominate the world, whilst USA did not realise this. So the idea of them sort of being this ultimate superpower and sort of maybe bossing everyone around could be put across here. Okay, well, I hope you found that quick video useful to help you with the 4-marker question. Do keep working through your revision guide, and I'll see you again soon for another video. Bye-bye.